All right, it's legal now, guys. Thank you for coming. Coach Analytics here on Wednesday nights. Changing nights. We always did Tuesdays before. I coach high school basketball, and our summer league happens to fall on Tuesday and Thursday nights. I apologize for that. I know habits. People like habits, and I do too. But I had to switch it up. That's an important part of my life, and those kids are important to me. And been coaching there 18 years, and that's part of keeps me young and something that I would never want to give up. And a lot of the reason I do real estate is so I can have time to coach my kids in these things. Here comes my wife, my beautiful wife. Bring a little sweet tea. We're wonderful. The dogs, she brings the whole lot. We're all professional here. Get the dogs. The dog's going to be barking. It's going to be a mess. Here we go. Hello, Gentry. What a sweetie. All right. So today's topic, I want to talk a little bit about, I spent some time with a newer agent here in the last couple of days, which I loved. It filled me with enthusiasm and energy. It kind of got me back to my roots. As I was spending a couple of days with them and watching the things they were doing, it kind of brought me back to when I first started. I was like, man, I was so hungry to succeed, and I got real fired up. And I wanted to give some training today on some things I talked to those 2 days about was, the basic grassroots of how to grow this business. And I think sometimes, and while we embrace social media and we feel like that's important, and we teach our agents to post 4 times a day, morning messages, afternoon messages, conversations that'll lead you back to real estate. I'm not disputing social media is important. I do. I mean, we have a service that, we'll post for you, for a very small fee an hour. We get that social media is important. However, there was a time when I was making $100,000 a year every year in this business and wouldn't post on social media. And the reason I wouldn't do that is I didn't want my boss to know I had a second job, that I was moonlighting, that I was making more money in real estate than I was making as a teacher. So I didn't want him to get wise. I mean, there was times I was like dipping out for lunch to do home inspections and stuff. I didn't want my boss to know, right? So, so there was a time I didn't post on social media, but I was still selling 30 a year. So what I think it's important to understand that this is a tiered business, right? That you can't just depend on any 1 or 2 topics or any 1 or 2 ways to get leads. That you have to have a multiple ways of drawing business into your daily business. And it comes down to social media leads. It comes down to leads that you've marketed and leads that you've got out there and prospected, right? And the art of prospecting, we have 2 Michelangelos. This is almost too good to be true. 1 Michelangelo, sure, that's a great time. There's nothing in life more fun than 2 Michelangelos. There's one. Where's the other?
I told you I was switching over.
Okay, well, you're killing the audience. You could have switched up the other. We could have 2 Michelangelos, whatever. We'll go with 1. We're happy to have 1, 1.5. But the idea is to have a multi-layered approach of how to get prospects, how to get business going. So there's a way to generate business. So how did we do this back in the day? What's still effective today? Because I'm certainly not going to tell you to put ads in newspapers or things like that, but what is effective today? So what I'd like to talk today a little bit about is a really great book here by Jeb Blunt. I highly suggest it for any realtor that's very serious. It's called Fanatical Prospecting, right? When I read through this book, it's probably my favorite book in real estate for success because he talks about doing it the way that I like to do it, to be an absolute fanatic, maniac about your business, how to build your business with just your energy, because energy is free. You don't have to pay for energy. You don't have to buy energy. But how were you able to build a business if you're a fanatical prospector, right? So, some key points about fanatical prospecting. For running a successful business, prospecting is important. A fanatical prospector is the one who is focused on the next sale, right? And we talk on this podcast, we talk all the time about always being on. I'm always on. I'm never off. I always look for an opportunity to hand out a card, start a relationship, start a friendship, move a relationship forward, to hand out, contact information. And I think that's so important. And one tip I remember last week was to always try to get their number. That way you're in control of the feedback and the responses, right? But a fanatical prospector does not have fear of the other person turning them down. They know that when they require something, they have to get it themselves. Right. So that's the basic bottom line business, is that you cannot have a fear of rejection in this business. Right. As I was driving through neighborhoods, I thought to myself, arrogantly even, we drove through 3 neighborhoods. We talked to 4 people and probably got 1 good lead. The next day, said agent did a little event, probably cost him $45 in free ice cream, got 4 or 5 leads. And I just remembered to myself, this business is easy. This is the easiest business in the world to turn yourself wealthy. 90% of millionaires are created through real estate. And what better way to do that than sell real estate, right? So you cannot have any fear of being turned down. So when I was a young agent, I would fanatically prospect. I would do things that were just crazy. Drive through neighborhoods, get out of my car and talk to people, right? This worked for me. One of the first days I rode with Michelangelo, he was like, wow, you just had like 10 meaningful conversations right after lunch. I was like, yeah, this is what I do, big dog. I just walk around and talk to people. I would walk up and down Wood Street, which is one of the more popular streets in the town that I was trying to dominate. They would say whoever owned Wood Street owned the city that I was realtor in. And I, at one time, had 7 listings on that street, right? I would walk up and down the street and just talk to people that lived there. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell. And that's part of being a fanatic, right? The reason we're not fanatics is because we're afraid. Nobody wants to be laughed at, right? I'm an old man. There was a time I was dashingly handsome, right? Military, good looking dude. Now I'm bald. I'm old. Every time I take a picture, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting older. Forgive me, right? We pulled up to this girl. Oh my God. She's like 25. Looked like she was like a professional Pilates instructor. Like that wasn't easy. But I was like, you know what? I'm trying to sell her a home. So I was like, she might think I'm a weirdo. Still approached her, still talked to her. But then in a conversation, you know, I lied a little. I told her, I said, look, I got a buyer. I'm going to lose them. They have to buy in this neighborhood. You know, would you please help me find somebody that's looking to sell before school starts? She took my card and was like, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to tell all my friends to help you. So that's how easy it is to build the business. But even I have some fear. Sometimes you have to overcome that fear, not be afraid to talk to anybody. Here's another big thing that I think we forget about, and I forget about it too as I'm coaching our realtors to success, right? Is I forget sometimes that you can't replace phone calls. You can't replace making phone calls. We talk about everything, right? I talk to our agents. I train our agents to contact their sphere, to use the CRM, to make sure they text message their sphere once a month. It's something I really believe in. It leads to a lot of success. But one thing I think that we forget about is the power of the phone call, right? When I grew up and cut my teeth in sales, it was insulting not to call the person and ask for business. It was insulting not to go to them face to face, right? People, old school business people, they didn't want to deal with you if you didn't go sit down with them. Don't forget the power of calling your sphere, right? Maybe if texting's not working, maybe they're not a texter. Maybe start calling your sphere once a month. The first day of the month, go over your A's. Second day of the month, go over your B's. Don't forget about the power of contacting people and making phone calls daily, right? We talk all the time about handing out 10 cards. For some people, that may be too much, right? That may be difficult, but maybe phone calling is different for you. Again, it's multi-tiers. For me, handing out 10 business cards is very simple, right? But possibly, you know, making 10 phone calls can be much, much easier. And this brought me back to the Brinson group, a group that we added, very, very, you know, a sensational realtor. And they cold call every day. They cold call, they just get in the phone book and they cold call the telephone book, old school 1940s telephone book. They get out and just cold call people. You're looking to buy or sell in Philadelphia. And, you know, several of the new agents are having lots of success by just old school cold calling, right? We believe in social media, we do, but don't forget the power of calling someone, having an actual conversation. It was one of the reasons why I really like Facebook, or one of the reasons why I really like Fizbo, sorry. Social media has a lot of potential, right? Again, we're not saying that, but it's not the only way to make a sale. You can use it to promote your business, to create a brand, and to stay first in mind. But I think sometimes we are too focused on posting on social media every day, and we're not having enough actual conversations about real estate, and we're not asking for business. If you're posting on social media just to build your brand, that's phenomenal. But if you're not calling people to action, then they're just reading your post. They don't know to use as your realtor. Make sure that on top of your posting that you're calling them to action. Please call me when you're looking to buy or sell. Please call me. Let me set up a consultation. Please let me tell you how much your home is worth. Without the call to action, the social media post is less effective than what we like to say, right? A good prospector, a fanatical prospector, and that's what we're trying to build you to be in. They use numbers to guide their work. They depend on data and analytics to give them direction. Do you know how many people you have to talk to a day to generate a lead?
Mm-hmm.
Most of you would say no. Some of you may say yes. If you do know, you're tracking your numbers. You should know how good a talker you are. I know 6 people, 6 meaningful conversations. 1 is going to lead to a sale, right? I'm a silver-tongued devil, took some verbal judo. I was a cop. I'm good at talking to people, good at de-escalating. When I was a cop, I barely seldom had to put my hands on anybody because I could de-escalate situations. You have to know how many people you need to talk to create a sale. Stats, statistics, walk neighborhoods, chart it, write it down. Get Wawa, handing out cards. How many cards do you hand out until you get a call back for a sale? You need to know this. You can't hit your goal if you don't know how much work it takes to hit your goal, right? You're out there working with no data. It's not possible to succeed without knowing how good you are and what's really working for you. One of the things we talk about in our business plan is charting the uses of our time. How many FISBOs did I call? How many listens did I get from those FISBOs? How many expireds did I reach out to? What did I get from that? How many people in my sphere did I text? Knowing percentage-wise what works for you, what gets you the most amount of leads in the least amount of time is the only way to be very good at your business. If you're truly trying to be fanatical, you want to do the thing that's most successful for you the most, right? And that's what I would suggest that you do, but you don't know it if you don't chart it. Some other things we talk about in fanatical prospecting is businesses can survive only when there are sales. That's the bottom line, right? If we're not selling, we're not making money, any of us. The bottom line is it's our job to sell homes, right? It is essential, but only a few people really understand sales. And experts seem to give their advice that isn't effective, right? They're always trying to sell you a shortcut for success and all these things. Pay for my coaching series. We don't charge you a thing for this. You get this for free. You know, read my book, take my podcast, do these different things. But the truth is this. Sales is a time-consuming business. If you want to be a superstar in sales, there is no shortcut. There is no magical fairy dust. The magical fairy dust is get out there and make it happen. Get out there and talk to people. Ask for the business. Closed mouths don't get fed, right? This is what no one wants to tell you. They want you to pay $1,000 a month for leads that are regurgitated, that you could get better leads yourself. The fact is this. You want to be successful in sales. You don't need me. You don't need Tom Ferry. You don't need Grant Cardone. All you need is hustle and effort. You have to have a determination that every day you're going to be fanatic about your business, that you're going to be on, that you're going to seize every opportunity to build every relationship and to move every relationship forward in your life. It's a popularity contest. Your job is there's three kinds of prospects. There's familiar, people that know, love you, and trust you. You don't have to work them hard. That's a follow-up. There's semi-familiar, right? They at least want to initiate a conversation with you. And then there's cold prospects. Your job is to get those cold prospects to get to know you, like you, and be willing to converse with you as fast as possible, right? It is a popularity contest. People list with the realtor they like the most, that they think will get them the most money and do the best job. That's where social media can come hand in hand by posting all your wins and sharing your good news, right? But that's the magical fairy dust. The magical fairy dust is hard work and discipline. It's going out there every single day, being on and being a fanatic about your business, right? Always being ready to go, always being ready to sell, always being ready to close, right? We don't fear rejection. And we try everything to interrupt prospects to control the conversation, right? Getting good at reasons why they're going to tell you no. It's not a great time for me right now. Interest rates are high. Getting good at the rejections, the common things. Well, I'm happy in this apartment. You're happy throwing away $1,500 a month. Do you know how much that is a year, right? That's almost $20,000 a year you're wasting. You're flushing down the toilet. You'll never see that money back. Understanding ways to talk to people, and you only get better at talking real estate by talking real estate. You only get better at selling EXP to people by knowing the model and talking EXP, right? But understanding the conversations and getting better at overcoming rejections is so key to being a fanatic, right? It's so easy when you first start. It's so difficult. You get shot down. You don't know what to say, right? You want to get to the point. We've had so many conversations today that it's like, boom, boom, going to the next one. Well, I don't have enough money for a down payment. Oh, funny you should say that. What if I told you I had a program that would give you $10,000 down to buy that house? Well, I don't have very good credit. Oh, funny if you say that. What if I told you I had a mortgage guy who's willing to commit fraud to get you a house? Because I do, right? All of these having an answer to every question can lead to more sales when you're a fanatic. You cannot sell homes if you're not having any conversations, right? The worst thing you can be is a secret agent. The worst thing you can be is no one know that's what you're doing, right? Make no mistake. If you know me, you know that I'm a salesperson. I'm very good at my job. I sell a lot of homes and I care about people. We are scared sometimes to have these conversations. That's the truth. I would say when I travel the country and I'm working with realtors, you say, what's the number one reason why realtors fail? And that's scary. I'm not going to lie to you. Recent statistic in Realtor Magazine said 87% of realtors will not make it in the business. Only 13% will sell a home next year because the market's so tough. Now, here on our team, it's over 60% of our agents, 64% of our agents sold a home last year. So we're proud of our numbers. We're successful. We believe what we do is great. We believe what we do is cutting edge for our agents. But the truth is the number one reason why realtors fail is because they are afraid to talk. They're afraid to call. They're afraid to post on social media, and they're afraid to ask for the business. In this business, you cannot be quiet. Hard for me. I was raised to be humble, raised as a farm boy. Don't talk about success. Don't talk about wealth. Keep it all in. Can't do that in this business. You got to create the public image that you are successful, that you are someone they have to use. It's the only way to get ahead. Again, social media is a helpful tool, especially to build those things. The worst enemies of us as real estate agents is procrastination, perfectionism, and perilous, right? It's easy to procrastinate. Sometimes you're like, man, am I really going to get out here in this heat and talk to 20 people? Am I really going to rent a booth in Morristown Mall and sit there all day while people walk by? Am I really going to go get a booth at this state fair? Am I really going to get a booth at this yard sale event and have Mr. Softy come? And the truth of it, if you're going to be successful, the answer to those questions is yes, I am, right? Because the alternative is failure. And success in this business really is a choice. It really is. 80% of agents are unsuccessful, and that's a sad number. But the truth is 80% of agents are choosing not to be successful. You choose to be successful. That's the truth. Procrastination will get you every time. Perfectionism, right? They talk about the performance cycle. The performance cycle says we spend so much time planning, we never execute, right? I was guilty of that. I was in the military. I had all these dreams. We're going to do this. We're going to start this business. We're going to start that business. We're going to do this, right? And we never got off our ass and actually did anything, right? So, you know, the planning stage is great, but it really comes down to executing the plan, right? Get up in the morning, put your pants on, and go find people to talk to about real estate, right? That is your plan, right? If nothing else, get up in the morning, put some pants on, right? Or not, whatever. Could be a good time. I don't know. Could lead to more sales, maybe less, depend. But get out there and sell some homes. Like, that's it. Get out there and find people to talk to in real estate. I don't care if you're doing yoga. I don't care if you're going to the coffee shop. I don't care if you're going to Wawa. Get out there, find people to talk to about real estate, right? Get a shirt. It says, who wants to talk to me about real estate? It works. I've seen an agent. He has that shirt all the time. He has a hat. It says, who wants to learn about real estate? People actually have walked up to us before and said, what are you doing? Again, it's talking about branding on your shirt. I wear my HSP shirt. People have walked up to me and said, how's this market? You know, the realtor I was working with couldn't get us a house. I was like, oh, well, listen, I have no problem selling homes. Why, possibly you'd like to work with me? You know, I have strategies to get you a house in this crazy market. If I don't have the shirt on, they don't know. So a lot of times it's branding in person. And again, if you have success, you don't have to be a walking billboard, but it doesn't hurt to open up conversations. If you know you're a person that struggles to open up the conversation, it is a good icebreaker to have those shirts. Perilous is the other thing, right? You know, the fear of everything. I have one agent I work with, I've been working with for a long time. Very difficult. I'm trying everything I can to help them be successful. But the truth is they're scared to do everything. Anything I suggest, they don't want to do. They're so afraid. My high school friends are going to laugh at me, right? I'm like, man, listen, if you won't post on social media, you won't call your friend group, you won't put a sign anywhere, you won't sponsor anything, how are you going to be successful, right? You know, perilous can be deadly. So don't be scared. Find your confidence. Listen, this is the truth. God didn't create you to be small, right? You got into real estate for a reason. You wanted to be successful. Well, here's your opportunity. Make no mistake about it. I mean, I have high energy. I'm a very hard worker, but I will tell you this. 4 years ago, I was nothing but a poor basketball coach struggling to make ends meet, right? I had maybe $200 in the bank, and that was it. I got in real estate to build a better life, and that's what I did, right? A life that I never dreamed of. And I did it all with just hustle and effort, right? So you can too. Again, the top salespeople in this business, they're using a mixed prospecting methodology, right? They're doing multiple things: cold calling, sending out emails, phone calls, social media. We're doing multiple things to generate business monthly, right? Last week, I closed 5. Got my guy Michelangelo a ton of rev share. That always makes me feel good. But I've got those different homes in a lot of different ways. One was from a friend. One was from the military base handing out cards. One was from a marketing thing I did, right? I get them from a lot of different sources, a lot of different ways. One was from what I call my lunches on Friday, move my relationships forward Fridays, where I meet with someone every Friday that can move my business forward, that can help refer me. We call them brand advocates. A brand advocate is somebody that's going to go out there in the neighborhood and just tell everybody that you're the best thing since sliced bread. If you did nothing else but get 5 good brand advocates, you wouldn't have to do a whole heck of a lot. You get 5 people in your community that are just all about pushing you onto people, depending on how popular they are, that's a long way to go. If you don't know who your brand advocates are, you better find some. You better get them to lunch. You better get them to your house. You better get them to dinner. The people with the loudest mouths that talk to the most people, right? We like to call them Karens, but Karen can help you build your business because she'll tell everybody in your neighborhood, whether you're the best or the worst. Right? So you better do a good job, right? You want people saying good things. It beats the all tournament. So here's some other things to keep in mind to always keep your pipeline full. The first thing is to always do it. To never be complacent about what you have closing. This is something that a lot of young realtors, they make this mistake. I have $2 million closing at the end of August. Very exciting. I'm going to make about $45,000. It's going to be a great week in my life. However, I'm thinking about what do I have closing in October and September? Because I already know I'm getting those paychecks in August, right? We spend so much time focused on closing a big deal or that deal and getting that $10,000, $15,000 commission. We're not thinking ahead. A good salesperson, a good realtor is thinking about the next one and the next one and the next one. How do I build? Same thing in coaching. I've already got my coach and my team laid out for the next 3 seasons. I will take a recruit for Dome basketball for the next 2 years. I've got the whole team mapped out. We've got 2 recruiting classes. I'm thinking about 2026 now, right? So that's what you're always thinking ahead. And this is what you have to do. First, you got to eliminate negative self-talk, right? You have to watch the way you talk to yourself, right? You have to be careful of what you put into your mind, right? You have to remind yourself every day that you can do this, that you're good enough, you're smart enough, you're strong enough, you're talented enough to have the life that you deserve, that God didn't create you to be small. If you're a religious person, if you're not, that's okay. We love all people, all walks of life, and all faiths. But me personally, I'm a person of faith. I believe God created me to do amazing things. He wanted me to stop giving away my talent for free, right? Stop living in poverty. He had bigger dreams for me than that, right? Praise the Lord. But the one thing we have to accept is that the life of abundance is out there. It's right there in front of us, right? And the prospects are everywhere. Don't listen to these losers that tell you that you can't sell homes in this market. I'm selling more homes than I ever have before. I'm on pace to do 8.8 million, right? In this market that everyone says is hard. It's not hard. Prospects are everywhere and they always will be. This is a fact, right? There will always be people that need a place to live. Now, you might have to shift to lower end homes. You might have to shift to rentals if sales go down, but there will always be a way to make money in this business. There were, even in the crash, 2008, what got popular? REOs, flips, mortgages, repossessed homes. But there was still a way to make money. We have agents that made more money in the crash than they did in the boom, right? People will always need housing. So understanding the fact that the prospects are everywhere out there. When I wake up in the morning, I'm excited. I can't wait because I know out there in my day, I'm going to meet 5 to 10 people that are going to need a realtor and they're going to need a good one. I got just the guy. He's about my height. Right? Get excited. Prospects are everywhere, right? Absolutely everywhere. Every no takes you close to a yes, right? I got some no's, right? In high school, man, I got a lot of no's. Eventually, I got a couple yeses. Even got to go to prom. You know what I mean? Some are going to say no. Some might say yes, right? My wife said no 18 times. Thanks, sweet baby Jesus, that they had no human resources at Doane Academy because I would have got fired. But listen, I knew I was good for her. I wasn't going to let her say no. She just got divorced. I said, listen, if I let this go like a year, she's going to be off the market. So I just kept going and going and going. She said, no. I got desperate, Jack. I was like, listen, I'm a salesman. What am I going to do? I was like, you got 1 play left. Just ignore like 6th grade. I was like, worked on Janice in 6th grade. So I just ignored her for like 2 months. Next thing you know, she said yes. Now we're married, right? Sweet life, 2 beautiful kids, beautiful home. All right, she's spending money left and right. She's happy. I'm happy. We all get there. But every no takes you closer to yes, and that's the truth. Don't let the no's get you down. You're never going to see them again. What do you care? I get FISBOs take my energy. FISBOs hang up on me, cuss at me. I don't know why I let it bother me. I'm a nice guy, but, don't worry about the no's, right? If your stats say 30 no's gets you a yes, then all that no did was get you closer to that yes. I know if I have 6 meaningful conversations a day, one is going to lead to a sale or at least a showing. So those 6 no's, all they're doing is getting me to my yes. And that's the way you have to look at it. You have to be tough and thick-skinned. Don't stop until you get what you want. That's discipline. And the truth is this, and I was reminded by this by spending some time with that agent. There was times I would go to a neighbor and said, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving without a listing agreement signed. I'm not leaving this neighborhood without a client. I'll stay here all day. There's been times I've called FSBOs. I locked myself in my door and said, I'm not getting off this phone until I've called every FSBO in the state or until I have 3 listing appointments for sale by owners for listings. That's the discipline it takes to be successful. You've got to want to succeed more than you want to breathe. It's not an easy business. We've done you a disservice. And, you know, these TV shows and buying Sarasota and all this nonsense, flipper's dream, where people think they're going to fall out of bed, become a great realtor, have a $100,000 vehicle convertible and buy 16 homes and flip them. That's not reality. You can do that, but reality is you got to work really hard to do that, right? And that's what this is about. Be a fanatic. The more fanatic you get about your business, the faster you'll be. Because you want to know why? You know what makes a salesman successful more than anything else is passion. People are not attracted to people who aren't excited. People are not attracted to people who are not positive, right? That's all I got going for me is my energy, right? But it's taken me a long way. My energy is a gift. It's the most valuable thing God ever gave me. I'll take my energy over 15 degrees. I have 4 of them. These degrees didn't help me make a penny, right? But my energy sure did help me build an unbelievable real estate business in such a short amount of time, right? So energy is contagious. Get out there and make it happen. Believe in yourself. Find the power to believe and get out there and do it. Don't stop until you get what you want, right? Woo! Like top athlete, prospectors improve performance by following numbers. You know, we talked about metrics. We talked about some things. You know, a good salesperson is competitive. You know what I mean? Always wanting to beat themselves. I keep a goal board up. You know, we talked about Michelangelo's training in the morning, which I always love. Talks about goal board visualization. I think there's power in that. I think if you don't have a goal board, you should have one. There's nothing I've ever put on my goal board that I did not achieve. Wrap your head around that. I've never put anything up on my goal board and hung it over my bed that I didn't achieve. And I put some crazy stuff up there. I put a Rolex at a time when a citizen would have been a stretch. You know, I put a home that was way out of my budget. I remember when buying a $300,000 home felt like it would never happen, right? Yeah, I've put dream vehicles up there, vacations. I put, you know, wife and kids at a time when I just got divorced. I felt like that was probably not going to happen. Anything I've put on my goal board, I've succeeded. There's power in visualizing your goals. It's almost like manifesting to the universe that you're going to be successful, right? But yeah, you got to track your data. Looking at your prospect pyramid, take every person you know and put them on a big board, a whiteboard in your office, and rate them either a hot prospect, a potential prospect, or a general prospect. A hot prospect is someone you're working with right now. A potential prospect is someone that you're building relationships with that one day you want to keep building. And a general prospect is just someone you vaguely know that you want to build a relationship with. You know, I have several thousand people on Facebook that I just add. I try to pick 10 or 20 and post on their Facebook every week and try to build that relationship, try to build the way they feel about me, move every relationship in your life forward, right? Because that will lead to a fulfilling life. What do I mean by that? The most powerful thing I do about being a fanatic is I'm a fanatic about my business, but I'm a fanatic about you as well, right? Move every relationship in your life forward. When you have the opportunity to do something nice for someone, do it. Because they will remember that when they're looking to buy or sell a house or they hear someone. If you have an opportunity to move any relationship forward in your life, do it. You got time to spend time with your grandmother, spend time with your grandmother. Move that relationship forward. Your wife, your husband, your kids. Move every relationship forward in your life, every opportunity you get. Live a life surrounded about adding value to other people's lives. If you can buy into this, you will have the most success and the most happiness that you could ever dream of, right? I have done a lot of things. I've been a soldier, been a cop, been a teacher, been a basketball coach, been a realtor, right? Done a lot of things. But I will tell you this, I'm the happiest human being on planet Earth. I love people with my whole heart. Sometimes they let you down. But I've built relationships for lifetimes. Military buddies that would literally die for me. Guys I grew up with that I still talk to. People I played basketball in high school that still call me. I drove 4 hours, maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago, to be at my buddy's mom's funeral. I sat outside for 3 hours. The look on his face, he hugged me and was like, "You're the only person I really wanted to see today." These are ways you move relationships forward. You want people to think of you as their realtor for life. You be a part of their life forever, right? And then, you'll have valuable relationships. You'll have meaningful, valuable relationships. You invite me to your kids' birthday party, I'm bringing them a PlayStation. I'm going to move that relationship forward that I can possibly move forward. It's a great way to live your life because then you don't even feel like you're working. You're just building relationships. You're just loving everybody. And when you love everybody, there's a pretty good chance they're going to love you. And when they love you, who are they going to list with? Who are they going to buy with? And who are they going to refer? They're going to refer you. This is a crappy business with crappy people. 80% of realtors have no clue what they're doing. 50% of them have no ethics. It's not easy to stand out. Just be yourself and build relationships. Move every relationship forward, right? And I think that's a great way to live because this business can't eat you up. When I got a time to spend time with my kids, I do it. I'm a fanatic when I'm out there, but I'm a fanatic for my family when it comes time to go to the Poconos or spend some time with them. Practice your persuasive pitch. Telling prospects what you have to offer them. How are you going to stand out when you're fanatically prospecting? When I'm talking to someone who's telling me to list their home, I say, this is what you get with Dan Williamson. You get a professional cleaning service because you do, right? You get the best photographer in the business because you do. You get a maniac energy because you do. You get an unbelievable marketing team because you do. You get the ability to reach out to every realtor around the country, that's EXP, and get the listing in their hands immediately. So things that you could never do on your own, right? These are the things that you get when you list with me. It's an added value. I have a team of contractors that work specifically for me that can get your repairs done. I'm showing value. And this way, right, I can also take 3.5% and give 2.5%, or give 3 and give 3, whatever, because I'm showing value. It's a lot easier to demand that 6% commission when you're showing so much value. I was at a home the other day, $720,000, I don't know, $700-some thousand, right? They didn't even budge at the 3%. And I was like, well, this is the value. You get a clean service. I'm going to do an open house. I'm going to have a bartender here, going to be serving drinks. I'm going to be in a suit that's going to knock her socks off by my Italian clothes designer. Like, we're going to be first class. She didn't even budge. Okay, fine. I could have told her 10%. She would have probably paid it. So there's some things to think about. Again, I'm all about our mind. I'm thinking about my mind all the time and our health. Some things to think about is always be optimistic. I hate complaining. Don't ever complain. Complaining's for the weak. Just don't do it. You'll be surprised how much happier you are. You'll be surprised how much more successful you are if you don't complain. Eliminate complaining. There's a great book out there. We'll talk about it one day soon called The No Complaining Rule by John Gordon. You don't complain, you'll see your life take off. You'll see your sales take off, right? What do bad salesmen do? They complain. All right. I got buddies that are car sales, complain all the time about the car business. Well, no wonder you can't sell. Who wants to come sit and talk to you about how miserable the car sale business is, right? Be optimistic, right? Optimism brings good energy. Be competitive. It's okay to set goals. It's okay to want to be the best. It's okay to get after it. Michelangelo is very good at that, right? He knows how competitive I am. He stokes my fires all the time. He's like, hey, listen, I recruited this realtor. I think they might outsell you this year. I'm like, well, listen, Jack, you just watch this. Yeah, you watch me turn up real fast. Or he'd be like, so-and-so recruited 5 agents last month. And, you are the best recruiter I've ever had under me, but they might catch you. Next thing I'll turn it up and recruit 5 realtors. So he knows how to push my competitive juices. I do the same thing with the kids I coach. I know how to push them a little bit. I heard that coach talking, saying our guards weren't very good. Next thing you know, my guards go out and play good. It's great to be competitive. You have to be confident. You have to find confidence, right? Confidence sells, guys. I mean, that's the truth. I was a leader in the military. I led my men in Afghanistan, my squad in Afghanistan. If I stood in front of those guys before we went out on patrol in Iraq or Afghanistan, I said, listen, guys, I don't know. This may not go good today. I hope it don't get us all killed. They're not going to be real fired up, right? They're not going to be following old Dan there. But I'd be like, today, let's look sharp. Let's look ready for battle. Let's do all the right things. Whatever happens, we're going to find a way through it. You got to be confident. People will follow you if you're confident. There's nothing worse than a realtor that's not confident. How do you get that confidence? Attend these. Attend any of the 100 EXP trainings a day. Read books, Google, learn, be a sponge, be good at the job. It takes a while. It took 2 years before I didn't need my broker for anything. But be as confident as you can be and build that confidence as fast as you can. You have to be relentless. And that's something that I am. I'm relentless about my business. I'm always looking to move forward. I'm buying a moving truck, and I'm going to slap my face on it and offer that if you list with me. Get my moving truck. I'm buying one from U-Haul for $4,500 here. Should be here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to slap my big, beautiful face on there in my suit. Name you can trust. Sales record that speaks for itself. List with Dan Williamson. You get this U-Haul, right? One of the best realtors in the world that is doing it in Florida. He's absolutely crushing it. Right? Within like a 30-mile radius. I'm not going to go out and hire people to be movers and have that liability. But if you want my truck, you list with me, you get it. If you're moving within a 30-mile radius, maybe I'll do 60. Who knows? Maybe I'll get crazy. Maybe we'll do 65. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it feels. All right. So relentless. You got to be relentless. Always looking for the next way to build your business and get better. Right? Relentless. Hungry for knowledge. We talked about that. Systematic and adaptable. You know, have your system, have your business plan, but then you've got to adapt. And you've got to change with what's working. Some of the worst salesmen, when a realtor tells me, I've been doing this for 30 years, I just hang up the phone immediately. I don't even consider the offer because I know they're going to be unbelievably difficult to work with. You have to adapt to this business, right? Social media is not easy for me. I'm 47 years old, right? I didn't have these things growing up, but I have to learn to use social media, to use Facebook. Michelangelo has to constantly remind me how to do things, but I'm pretty good now, logging in everything, but it took a while. Here's the universal law of need. The more you want something, the lesser your chances of getting it because people can see your desperation. I've always said this, and I've always believed this for these of my calls. When you don't need the money, you'll be great. The fastest thing you do to get success is get 3 or 4 deals under your belt, get 20, 30,000 in the bank, and watch how much better you are. Never chase the commission. Do a great job and serve the client. You serve people, you put people first, you will succeed in this business because they will see your sincerity. When you're desperate for the commission, and that commission is the difference between living and breathing, they can sense that. It's hard to be confident when you're in that situation. The fastest way you can get 20, 30 grand in the bank, do it. You got to get 2 or 3 deals under your belt, get some money in the bank. And then this job gets easier because then, you know, you can make moves. You can buy flyers. You can buy door hangers. You can have postcards sent out when you got a couple dollars, right? So that's the best thing you do is hit your personal sphere as hard as you can to get 2 or 3 deals to get some money in the bank. And then then that leads to more referrals, and then you're going. The hardest thing is getting started, guys. That's the truth. The first sale is the toughest. That's the absolute truth. After the first sale, most people are going to make it. It's the ones who never get the first sale that leave the business in 6-7 months because all they've done is spent money and not made money. Right. All right. So the 30-day rule states that 30 days of prospecting every day sets up your business for the next 90. Right. So think about that. So the seeds you plant 30 days, if you prospected every day for 30 days, you should have a pipeline full of people for 3 months. Right. So what happens is people go months without prospecting. Right. And then their pipeline dries up. It's so important to prospect every day, to always be on, to always be ready. Sales slump. If you stop selling, you're going to go in a little bit of slump. The fastest way out of a slump is what? Massive action. If you find yourself, you didn't, let's say you took time off, maybe somebody got sick, God forbid, I got cancer, I had to take a 6-month leave of absence, praise God, we're over that now. But, how do I come back after 6 months of not selling like a maniac, right? If you're in a slump and you're not selling because you didn't prospect enough or hard enough, you can't do nothing about it. It's lost. But what you can do is you can wake up tomorrow and prospect 10,000 times harder, right? If I was in a situation where I was desperate to sell a home, I would go out there and I would make it happen. I'd drive every neighborhood. I'd hit every apartment complex. I'd talk to 10,000 people tomorrow. If 1 sale or 2 sales or 3 sales was going to drastically change my life, and it can, I would go out and I would get 3 sales. I don't care what I had to do to get them. I don't care if I had to call lenders all day and be like, listen, give me 1 buyer and I'll use you forever, right? Whatever it takes, I'm going to go get 3 or 4 deals. And I've always been that way. I have no worries about this business at all. In fact, I laugh at myself sometimes for being afraid of working for myself. Because there was a time when I was like, I could never leave my full-time job. And now I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I sell myself short. I can't believe that, $75,000 a year was enough for me to give up my life. All right. So remember these things real quick, setting an appointment when you're prospecting, not just getting the phone number, try to set an appointment. Hey, can I swing by your house? Which one is yours? Can I swing by and take a look and let you know how much it is? we've been thinking about selling. We want to get back to Canada. Hey, well, what's the address? Yeah, can I come by tomorrow night at 6? Try to set an appointment before you walk out the door when you're fanatically prospecting. Close the deal, build familiarity, move something forward each time. The law of familiarity, activities build familiarity is a great way to build your business, right? Being a fanatic, even if you're not prospecting, if you're doing things that build familiarity, that's almost as good as prospecting. And that's a piece of your business that we don't talk enough. The law of familiarity says that if a person sees your name, your face, or your likeness, or your slogan 7 times, they will remember it. So think about
tell them the story about the realtor who went through a neighborhood and they took a poll about who was the top selling agent in that neighborhood.
Yeah, so I went through, I was in a Grant Cardone series, Becoming Your Best Self, paid a little bit of money to go to it. And he gave me a lot of great ideas. One of them was post $1 million listings on my Facebook, asking people if they wanted to see it. And lo and behold, people actually started calling me and say, yeah, I'd like to see that $1 million home. So it got me in a lot higher price points. But what I learned in that clinic, for the best realtors in the world was they took a brand new realtor, never sold a home, and sent out postcards in the neighborhood. And they polled the neighborhood who was the most successful realtor in that region. And they all had different answers. All right. So over the course of 2 months, they sent postcards out every 2 weeks with the same realtor. All right. 3 months later, they poll that neighborhood who is the most successful realtor in this area. And his name was said 78% of the time. So just by sending postcards out 7 times, which cost him about $132 to this one specific neighborhood, he had built an image that he was the most successful realtor in that area. And if he went walking through that neighborhood after all those postcards, he would have got any list that he wanted because he had built his brand. He had not sold a home at the date of that study. Had never sold one home. But that entire neighborhood believed he was the very best realtor. So the law of familiarity says that 7 contacts make someone believe that you are successful. You leave an imprint on their mind. How do you get those 7? Well, I spend a half an hour a day posting on people's social media. You're great. You're wonderful. Oh, you just got back from the Bahamas. Oh, how are you? You just got back from Canada. You just got back from Texas. How's your daughter? How's your sister? How's your buddy? How's Billy? Whoever. Just messaging. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. You can do it. Why? 1, I'm moving relationships forward. 2, I'm adding goodness in the world. And 3, I'm building the law of familiarity, right? That moving truck is going to be law of familiarity. People are going to see it all over the place, driving through. Dan Williamson, name you can trust. Sales record speaks for itself. They're going to see that. And what does that say? Right? A name you could trust. Well, he must be trustworthy, right? He says it. It must be true. People must really trust this guy. He's ex-military. He's ex-teacher. He's a trusted basketball coach. People must really love this dude. Sales record speaks for itself. He must be a boss to put that in writing. They don't know how to pull up your sales record. I wish they did. They'd see that I'm a very good salesman, a very good sales record, but they just assume it's true. They put on, if there's one thing our country has taught us, is that you can put anything out there and everybody will believe it, right? It doesn't have to be true, right? Go on any social media. You'll see some crazy stuff, right? Put it out there. Put your name and likeness out there. That's the law of familiarity. So post it on social media, T-shirts, name tags. I see, our Punzies are in every diner in South Jersey. Every time I go to a diner, I sit down, I see them on the mat. Like, holy crap, are they in every diner? Like, find ways to be familiar in the public. One of my very good friends, Ray Morehouse, hopefully be joining EXP here with me really soon. He pays to be in every shop right in the area. You turn the thing over, you see him in your shopping cart. It's hard not to be familiar. He has postcards go out in my neighborhood every week, right? So law of familiarity, people, they know that name, they see his name, right? We have to get our names out there. Familiarity threshold, it's a point where a prospect has a first name relationship with the salesperson. People just know you. That's Michelangelo. That's Dan. That's James. That's Patricia. That's Sarah. That's Tia. And Tia's friend, who does have a name. Michelangelo did not tell me her name. What is your name, Tia's friend?
Anira.
Oh, I love that. See? Oh, what is it? Anita?
Sorry?
What is your name, Anita?
Anira.
Oh, Anira. Oh, Anita's great. She'd be like, I need a salesman. I need a buyer. I need a client. I need a listing. You can use Anita to do a lot of things. But we can use that too. That's all part of it. Having a brand, having a name brand recognition, having a slogan. These things matter. This is why we offer these trainings. About how to have a consistent message that you're putting out, a consistent theme, a consistent brand. These things all help you be successful. But I strongly recommend, and we all have books. Sean will tell you the book Sell is great for a first-time realtor, but I strongly recommend Fanatical Prospect, because I will tell you that if this computer went in the water, I would still sell 30 homes a year, because I would just be a fanatic about my business. I would go back and do it in an old school way, right? But why? You don't have to do it in an old school way. Why not use every kind of method to build prospects? Use social media, use knocking on doors, use postcards, use mailers, use everything at your disposal. Now, I don't know that mailers really work. A lot of people don't read their mail, but I'll say name familiarity. It worked for that kid in that study that I went to. Questions, comments, concerns. Thank you so much for taking time. I'm going to stop the recording and just take your questions in case you have personal questions or things that you're going through that you may not want public. So let me stop this recording.